Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ. And welcome to this live broadcast from St. Peter's Square on this Sunday. The Church in many countries today celebrates the solemnity of the Most Holy Body and Blood of Christ, also known as Corpus Christi Sunday today. In just a few moments, Pope Francis will come to the window of the Apostolic Palace and greet us before praying the traditional Angelus at noon, in which we commemorate the conception of God's own Son in the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary. From wherever you are joining us, I would like to welcome you to this live broadcast. Some of you may be joining us through various Vatican media channels, perhaps the Vatican News app or the Radio Vaticana app, the Vatican News web portal or the Vatican News English YouTube channel or our Facebook Live feed. We also welcome all of you who are joining us through our partner broadcasting stations, which include EWTN TV, Catholic Faith Network in America, Salt and Light TV, Radio Maria England, Shalom World TV, Atma Darshan TV, Catholic TV, and as we also welcome those of you joining us on various radio stations throughout the world, including Luminous Radio in India and Radio Maria Papua New Guinea. We also welcome all of our friends from the Deaf Catholic Youth Initiative for the Americas, DCYIA. Please visit our Vatican News YouTube channel to find translation of these papal events in American Sign Language, or ASL. My name is Devin Watkins, and I'll be providing the commentary and translation for this Noonday Angelus. If you can hear some noise in the background, that is because today is Republic Day here in Italy, and there is a large parade, military parade downtown, and right about now there will be the, they call it the tricolor, there will be jets that fly over the center of town and that release the smoke that looks like the Italian flag of red, white, and green. So those are the fighter jets that you hear in the background. Today, as I noted, is Corpus Christi Sunday in many parts of the world, celebrated here in Italy as well. Later today, Pope Francis will celebrate Mass, lead a procession in downtown Rome, and then celebrate Mass for the feast of Corpus Christi. And we see the curtains being pulled back on the window of the Apostolic Palace, and Pope Francis comes to the window to greet the crowds.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona domenica.
Dear brothers and sisters, a good Sunday. Today, in Italy and in other countries, we celebrate the solemnity of Corpus Christi. The Gospel of today, today's liturgy tells us about Jesus' Last Supper, during which he performs a gesture of handing over. In fact, in the broken bread and in the chalice offered to the disciples, Jesus gives himself for all humanity and offers himself for the life of the world. In this gesture of Jesus, who breaks the bread, there is an important aspect that the Gospel emphasizes with the words, "He gave it to them." Let us fix these words in our heart. He gave it to them. Indeed, the Eucharist recalls first and foremost the dimension of gift. Jesus takes the bread, not to consume it by himself, but to break it and give it to the disciples, thus revealing his identity and his mission. He did not keep life for himself, but gave it to us. He did not consider his being as God a jealously held treasure, but stripped himself of his glory to share our humanity and let us enter eternal life. Jesus made a gift of all of his life. Let us remember this. Jesus made a gift of all his life.
Comprendiamo allora che celebrare l'Eucaristia e cibarci di questo pane, come facciamo specialmente alla domenica.
Let us understand, then, that celebrating the Eucharist and eating this bread, as we do especially on Sundays, is not an act of worship detached from life or a mere moment of personal consolation. We must always remember that Jesus took the bread, broke it, and gave it to them. And therefore, communion with him makes us capable of also becoming bread broken for others, of sharing what we are and what we have. Saint Leo the Great said, "Our participation in the body and blood of Christ tends to make us become what we eat." This is what we are called to become what we eat, to become Eucharistic, that is, people who no longer live for themselves, in the logic of possession and consumption, but people who know how to make their life a gift for others. In this way, thanks to the Eucharist, we become prophets and builders of a new world. When we overcome selfishness and open ourselves up to love, when we cultivate bonds of fraternity, when we participate in the sufferings of our brothers and sisters and share bread and resources with those in need, when we make all our talents available, then we are breaking the bread of our life like Jesus. Let us ask ourselves then, do I keep my life only for myself? Or do I give it like Jesus? Do I spend myself for others? Or am I closed within my own little self? And in everyday situations, do I know how to share? Or do I always seek my own interests? May the Virgin Mary, who welcomed Jesus, bread descended from heaven, and gave herself entirely together with him, help us too to become a gift of love, united with Jesus in the Eucharist.
Angelus Domini, nunciavit Mariae.
Et concepit Spiritus Sancto.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ecce ancilla Domini.
Fiat mi secundum verbum tuum.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Et verbum caro factum est.
Et habitavit in nobis.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ora pro nobis, Santa Dei Genitrix.
Udini efficiamur promissionibus Christi.
Gratia Tua, in questum Domine, mentibus nostris infunde, che angelo nunziante, Christi Fili Tui, incarnazione coniovium, per passione meius ad crucem, a resurrezione gloriam perducamur, per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Pro fidelibus defuntis, requiem aeternam dona eis Domine.
Et lux perpetua luce Deis.
Requiescant in pace.
Amen.
Sit nomen Domini benedictum,
ex hoc nunc et usque in saeculum,
aiuterium nostrum in nomine Domini.
qui fecit caelum et terram.
Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen. Cari fratelli e sorelle, vi invito a pregare per il Sudan, dove la guerra.
Dear brothers and sisters, I invite you to pray for Sudan, where the war has lasted for over a year, and there is very little hope of peace. May the weapons be silenced, and may the international community seek to help those Sudanese refugees so that they may find welcome in host neighboring countries. And let us not forget martyred Ukraine, Palestine, Israel, Myanmar. And I appeal to the wisdom of governors, of leaders, so that escalation may be ceased and dialogue and negotiations may commence. I also greet all the pilgrims from Italy and Rome and from Croatia and Madrid. I greet the pilgrims from Bellizia and Iglesias and the Cultural Center Luigi Padovese and the postulants of the Daughters of the Oratory. The group Pedalare, pedal for those who cannot, here in Rome. I greet the young people of the Immaculate. I wish all of you a blessed Sunday. Please do not forget to pray for me. Have a good lunch, and until next time. And with that, we close this live broadcast of the recitation of the noonday Angelus with Pope Francis in St. Peter's Square on the Feast of Corpus Christi. Please visit our Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's Angelus, as well as other Vatican and world news. We will be back again this evening for Mass on the Feast of Corpus Christi. On behalf of Vatican Media, I'd like to thank all of those who made this broadcast possible. My name is Devin Watkins. A blessed Sunday to you all. Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ.